This is Nick at Night, and I'm here today starting a new series on the channel. Another video related to music, of course, not just Fortnite. But today we're going to be talking and recapping the month of January of 2022 and what it has brought to us music-wise. Because it was pretty good, at least in the first half, right? And I thought I would talk about my favorite singles, non-album tracks. And then I'll talk about my favorite albums that came out because I also want to be a music guy, The first song out of 5 I want to talk about is $1 Million Worth of Game by 2 Chainz featuring 42 Dugg. This song is like trap. It's like the production's weird. It's a very, for lack of better terms, nasally type of instrumental where it's like a recorder or flute, but it's like slightly off pitch to the point where it's definitely annoying. It definitely annoys you. But I think it works. 2 Chainz, his voice is so nice and it sounds really good on this. And then I think the addition of 42 Dugg, which I don't like 42 Dugg that much, but I think the addition of his voice, especially in the hook, is pretty good because 42 Dugg's also very nasally. Next is Surround Sound by JID featuring 21 Savage and Baby Tate. This song is crazy. I think this is probably one of the best singles we're going to have this year. His flow is obviously unmatched. We knew that since, the Never story, stuff like that. The hook with it just sounds like you're kind of on the turntable, but it's his voice. It's not even the production. His voice is just making this it's hard to explain, but it's just so ear grabbing. You can't get the hook out of your ear. 21 Savage on this track did absolutely insane. He usually has this flow. It's not the same flow. It's not like a DaBaby same flow different song type thing, but it's it kind of has a pattern to it, especially with his voice. But I think he switched it up on this song. I think that the switch up with kind of a JID styled flow worked really well for 21 Savage, and I think he did a great job on this track. Baby Tate, I wish there's more of her. I don't know much about her, but her voice is beautiful, and it was just used for a beat switch, which was also amazing, but I wish she was more like a backup vocal throughout the entire track. Also, that beat switch is amazing. Next up, this one's a little weird in my opinion, but it's Sober Dober by Tate. It's just so ear grabbing. It's braggadocious. It's about sex. It's all the usual trap stuff, but it just everything works together for me. The flow along with the beat, it's fast paced, but also you can get every word. You know what he's what's being said. The production is so bass heavy. And at first you think it's bass heavy, but then it gets more bass heavy at some points. And those points, the compression on the bass is so tight. It sounds like he's rapping into a fan, where his voice sounds so robotic because of how much the bass shakes up his vocals. You just want to press rewind and you want to listen to it again because it sounds so bad that it's good, and this is probably my most played single of this year. I don't even know who Tate is. Alright, I have Walkin by Denzel Curry. I don't have a lot to say about this song because it's new, and I haven't listened to it a lot. I haven't listened to it a lot, but Denzel Curry's Denzel Curry, and he always makes good music. And now that Zoo and Taboo has sat with me for a while, I do think, though, those 2 projects are fantastic. They both kind of start sounding like the same project at some point. If you put both of them on shuffle, at some point I'd be okay, which one goes to here, which one goes there? But this is very cinematic, and just the cover of it, it's very cinematic. And I can't wait for whatever Denzel Curry's working on next because this is great. This is different from the experimental project with Kenny Beats. This is different than Zoo. This is different than Taboo. I think that this is a new lane for Denzel Curry, and it's similar, but it's different enough for me to care about it. All right, we have a track that came out today named Arya by Nigo and A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky's back. I know he never left, but he hasn't made something, and I feel, was it like 2018 was his last single? He recently like added his old mixtape to streaming, but that's, you know, that's old stuff. He's back, and he sounds really good on this song. I know he was in the studio with like Kanye, The Game, all that good stuff, Antonio Brown, but he sounded great. And I didn't know who Nigo was. I know that, you know, he was in the studio as well. I know that he does fashion. I know he recently had a fashion show in Paris, and I looked at him. He's a DJ also, as a fashion guy. He's also a DJ. He was part of a Japanese hip-hop group. He made that one song, Tokyo Drift. Like, he was part of that song. So this guy's a guy, you know. And I guess he added to the production of this, which is great. The piano sample, or like whatever, the piano, I think Pharrell Williams might have done it. Fantastic. I don't know what Nigo did to the track, but it elevated it for sure. A$AP Rocky sounds fantastic on this track. It's definitely something I'll be listening to for the rest of 2022. Onto albums. There's some pretty good albums that came out in January. I think the beginning of January was stronger than the end of January. Obviously, we're starting with Dawn FM by The Weeknd. The Weeknd does it again. After Hours was good to me, but in all honesty, it's kind of forgettable. Besides like Blinding Lights, Save Your Tears, After Hours was kind of forgettable. I kind of forgot a lot of the tracks on After Hours. But with Dawn FM, I keep on coming back for these tracks. And I think it's because, though, you know, there's memes about it sounding the same, about all the songs having this banana, all the songs are so good. And he even revealed that this was a part of a new trilogy, you know, and like he's known for his original trilogy. I love how spacious this album is. You really feel like you're in that area that's shown in the trailer where it's black, you're just standing there, and you're going from life to death, and you're just in that process, and it makes it sound like you're listening to this cryptic radio. It's such a nice feeling. It's not a nice feeling, but it's nice to listen to. I'm a sucker for albums with narratives as well. That's why I like Kanye West, because everything he makes kind of has a narrative. The narrative on this album is so cool, about warning your past self about your issues, and warning your past self about things that you did wrong, but your past self not listening because your past self is naive. You keep on going into this process of trying to save yourself, but keep on doing the same mistakes and being a hypocrite and being toxic. My favorite tracks on this album is Gasoline. I didn't even know that was The Weeknd, you know, on the bridges, but like, wow. Gasoline, Sacrifice, Out of Time, Is There Someone Else? Trip Season 4, Ever, by Gunna. I am by no means a Gunna fan, or at least I wasn't a fan of Gunna until this record. From what I've heard, this might be my favorite Gunna project, or at least the best one by far, because man, this is the first time I went into a Gunna project and I probably didn't roll my eyes at half the songs. And I think it's also because I'm walking into this music, I'm listening to this music firsthand and not taking it too seriously. This album is funny. You know, the build up to this album with the Freddie Gibbs beat, like beef just to say Freddie Gibbs fibs, like it's almost a joke, you know? And I think I'm going to treat Gunna like that from now on, because if that's how I need to treat Gunna to listen to his music and to enjoy his music, I'm gonna treat Gunna like that. You know, like Drip God in the house. You know it's good. Oh my god. I probably listened to this album more than any other album so far this year. It's just that you can keep on replaying the songs, and the songs are so good. So good. My favorite songs are Pushin' P. Thought I Was Playing with 21 Savage is probably one of my favorite songs this year, behind like Sober Dober. But like, I think they both do great here. Livin' Wild is probably the most personal song I've listened to of Gunna's, and I think it's touching, and I think that the sample there was also really good. And Pussy Power with Drake, that song is a masterpiece, and I think that the moaning sample through the beat adds more than you think it does. Next is Sick by Earl Sweatshirt. Earl Sweatshirt's back, and I think back in a new, and might I say better form. I liked some rap songs is fine to me. At some point, it stops going on your playlist, or you skip it in your playlist because the songs are super unlistenable at times. They're so sad, or they're so strange. You don't want to listen to them because it's like, wow, this dude's feeling something, or wow, East is trash. This album, not that it needs to be more trappy, but like, he's rapping on beat, he's rapping to different beats, especially beats with drums and stuff, and his flows are more, like, to the tracks. It's like a train and not necessarily a car going 50 miles per hour off-road. There's not much to say about this record besides that. It's short and sweet, and it's one of my favorites this year. I think he did really well in this album. I'd say my favorite songs are 2010, Sick, Tabula Rasa, featuring Arm & Hammer from Haram last year. Next up on my favorite albums of January 2020 list is CAPRISONGS by FKA Twigs. I don't think this is an album, I think this is a mixtape, but either or, it's a great project, and one that everybody should listen to. It's nice R&B, it's soothing. This is so sexy and not sexy at the same time, because you want to feel like, ooh. And when she talks about like making a mixtape for me, I'm like, okay. But then like she sounds like an alien on some of these songs, and it's like, it's glitchy. And I love that glitchy type of vibe, and it's glitchy to the point where I really enjoy it, and it's like, wow, I didn't know sexy could be glitchy as well. I don't have too many favorite songs on this album. I like the album as a whole. It's one of these albums where you kind of have to listen to it together, or like a lot of these songs are like a vibe, but you're not necessarily going to be like throwing them on randomly, because you gotta like get into it. At least for my opinion right now, I'm probably gonna listen to this and like it more and find out like the names of tracks and stuff. The entire album is fantastic. I know the intro, Ride the Dragon, it's probably like a really big standout for me. Like that one obviously was like my first FKA Twigs song, and I was like, wow. And finally, I wanted to throw out some praise to what I thought was a 2022 album by Mach-Hommy, Dollar Menu. I was doing a little research before this video to see if Dollar Menu had any features, because it sounds like it does. Turns out it's branded as a collab album with the God Fahim, which I didn't know. It doesn't say that on Apple Music. And apparently this album actually came out in 2017, but again, Apple Music made it look like it came out January, I think 20th. So I listened to it and I treated it like a 2022 album, and it made my 2022 January list. It's good. It's really good. I think that Mach-Hommy is awake on this album, a lot more awake than he was on Pray for Haiti, which I loved, but a lot of the tracks he sounded really sleepy on, and sometimes that worked for him on songs like Criminal. On other songs, it was just like boring to listen to. Or I think on this album, he's a lot more jumpy, he's a lot more enthusiastic about the bars that he's rapping about. And I also think that like the way he delivers it is also just a lot more brighter. He has that Griselda type energy on this. I don't know if he's necessarily part of Griselda. Underground hip hop sound is there. The sound that you like from Mach-Hommy is there, and it's so nice. And the God Fahim, if I never found out that he was on this project, I would continue to think that this was all Mach-Hommy, because their voices are so similar. And I have notes written down for this, but I don't know who to credit with any of this stuff though. But there's a West Side Gun impression through this entire album. 2 or 3 songs have this West Side Gun feature where it's, Fly God, but it's not really the real West Side Gun. It's either Mach-Hommy or the God Fahim acting like West Side Gun, doing his ad-libs, doing his cranky little baby flow. Really sounds like him, and it really elevated some of these tracks, I think the track would probably be better with the real West Side Gun, because I'm a West Side Gun fanboy, but man, like, this fake West Side Gun is a good West Side Gun, and if they're not trying to be West Side Gun, this is embarrassing. But it sounds a lot like West Side Gun, so it's either inspired or they're trying to act like him, but I'm pretty sure they say something about Fly God, so I think that it's a West Side Gun impression. Either way, got some favorite songs for this. It's Barnum and Bailey, Maslow's Hammer, Schroeder. I said like all of those names incorrectly. Yeah, that's the video I had in mind. I want to do this every month, where at the end of the month I gather my favorite music and I recommend some stuff, because I really want to start talking more about music, and my schedule is kind of full, so I want to make time at the end of January, end of February, etc., etc., etc. Putting this all together, and then by the end of 22, I have a 2022 list, just like the one that came out recently. Let me know how you like the style of video with my face. Do you want me to go back to the PowerPoint like I did for the top 20 list? I appreciate the support that I've been getting on this channel, my streams, Discord, all that. This isn't Fortnite. If you aren't already, subscribe to the YouTube. I have 100 followers on Twitch. But I have like 14 subscribers on YouTube, so it'd make my day if you guys subscribed, liked the video. Let's try to grow the Nick Nation.